And normally when they ask me where is Priocca, I always say it's easy to say because it's 20 minutes far from everywhere. It's 20 minutes to Barolo, it's 20 minutes from Barbaresco, it's 20 minutes from all the more important village in the Langhe region.
Welcome to another episode of On the Road Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim. Each week, Stevie travels to incredible wine destinations, interviewing some of the Italian wine scene's most interesting personalities, talking about wines, the foods, as well as the incredible travel destinations.
Okay, so for those who are less familiar, where is Priocca?
Okay.
Where is Priocca?
We are just in Piedmont, and we are in the center of the Roero region that is very close to the Langhe region, the part more important, more famous in Piedmont for the wine, for making Barolo, Barbaresco, and obviously Roero. We are just in a small vintage because we are 2,000 people in Priocca.
Priocca, tell me, like, what is it near? Priocca is near, Barolo.
Okay.
It's like 10 minutes away from Barbaresco, whatever.
And normally when they ask me where is Priocca, I always say it's easy to say because it's 20 minutes far from everywhere. It's 20 minutes to Barolo, it's 20 minutes from Barbaresco, it's 20 minutes from all the more important village in the Langhe region.
So, your restaurant is called Il Centro, right?
Yeah.
Why is it called Centro? And I hear it says since 1956. That sounds pretty...
Yeah, we are getting a bit old.
Yes.
Yeah, but the restaurant was opened by my grandfather and my grandmother in
So this
April.
is that you're the third generation.
I supposed to be the third generation because now I always say that I help my father and my mother. They are still the more important person in the restaurant, and was opened by my grandfather and my grandmother in April 1956. In that moment, my grandfather who used to be the chef, but just after a few years that they opened the restaurant, my grandfather died. So my grandmother started to be the chef of the restaurant. Since 1983, my mother, she's the chef, and my father is always I don't want to say that he's the boss because the real boss in an Italian family is always the lady, the mom, but she is the general manager of the restaurant, the smile of the restaurant, right. Always taking care of the customer. And since, let me say, 2013-14, I help him both, my father and my mother, but I'm more focused in the cellar to making the wine list and to take care also of the customer. Yeah.
Okay, so before we get into the cellar, because you have an amazing, I've been to a lot of cellars, amazing cellar, but before we get to that, tell me a little bit about restaurant. What is first of all, it's a Michelin star restaurant, is that correct?
Yeah, it's a Michelin star restaurant since I think 2010, but it's still a very, very traditional restaurant. My grandmother, my mother, they always used to make traditional recipe from Piemonte, and I want also for the future of the restaurant that the idea and then the style of the restaurant not change. Obviously, we try to do year after year the things better and better, try to be more fine, more elegant, but always respecting what is the traditional food of Piemonte.
So give me some examples of the traditional dishes, which are more like your signature dishes from your restaurant.
Sure. Well, let me say that all the homemade pasta are for sure a signature from this restaurant. But also a very old recipe, old menu called fritto misto that we prepare just in the winter season from January to March, and that is made with all the interior part of beef, pork, like the foot of the pig, the brain, the liver, the sweetbread, all these kind of things that can sound strange, but they are amazing, and also they are talking about the history of our area.
So fritto misto is not fish.
It's not fish, absolutely.
It's just...
Many customers told me, but it's made with fish. No, because it's not common in Piemonte to eat fish, apart obviously of anchovy and other things.
Right. So it's fritto misto, but with meat.
Yeah, meat
all
and
parts of meat.
Yeah, but meat and vegetable because
vegetables.
There are more or less 26 pieces between meat and vegetable. So normally we start from the foot of the pig until the brain of the beef.
Okay.
Yeah,
It sounds almost Chinese.
Yeah, it's
not
4 hour tasting menu, so you have to be ready to do that.
Psychologically also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single parts of the meat.
Yeah.
Both pork and cow.
Yeah.
Okay. 26 pieces. Already. Then that was fritto misto. Okay. But do you have it all year round?
No, just January, February, March.
Okay. So
Also because we can also
months.
have fritto misto in August, but you know, everything fried in August is a bit hard to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some other dishes? So you have fritto misto.
Well, obviously the ravioli al plin, degli agnolotti al plin.
Okay.
Also the tagliarini.
But is there something different? Like, is your recipe, because of course everybody makes ravioli, agnolotto, al plin, right?
Let me say, we are our style to make the ravioli al plin, that it was arrived from my grandmother recipe, but it's really, really traditional. So with rabbit, pork, and veal. And but
rabbit,
also
pork, and veal.
And also the tagliarini that to make it, they are first of all cut by hand, but they are made with, for 1 kilo flour, 34 eggs. So again, it's a really, really strong recipe. And
wait, so tell me that a tagliarini, right, with the J, right? So give me a little background for those who are less familiar.
Yeah.
What is tagliarini?
Tagliarini, the small, let me say, the fine tagliatelle. And in our dialect, it is also reminded, we also call it capelli degli angeli. I don't know in English.
Andrea was right.
Capelli degli angeli, because they must to be very fine. And the only way to do it is by hand.
Okay.
So at the beginning, when you start working in centro, it could be dangerous because you start to cut the tagliarini. But my mother asked to cut very fine, so sometimes you have a problem with the fingers.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it's one of the more traditional things, and we are just a few restaurants that continue to cut by hand this pasta because it's not easy to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Antica Torretta.
They are one of the best tagliarini that I ever had. They are really, really good, really nice. But you know the good place, good address.
I could just go with the locals.
Yeah.
You know, I go where the locals are.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about something else besides tagliarini and agnoletto?
Agnolotti del plin, but then we have the veal cheek caramelized with figs. My mother used to prepare...
Veal cheek caramelized with figs.
Is again, my mother in the summer season, they used to prepare all the marmalade, all the things prepared in a small container, the amburnia, we call amburnia, that is the small container in glass. And they used to make also the figs. And in November, we used to make these dishes, and we caramelize the meat with the sauce of the figs that my mother prepared in the summer. So we do many things like the frutta sciroppata, so the fruit under syrup that we serve in the winter. But it is nothing new. It's a very old recipe that my grandmother used to do it. So we are continuing just to tell the story at the customer, the story about our region.
So your grandmom was a chef.
Yeah.
Your mom's a chef. Do you know how to cook?
To be honest, I'm not the chef. I don't want to be a chef. But when I was younger, I was working in different restaurants, like in Spain, in France.
And what were you doing?
In the kitchen. I was working in the kitchen.
Okay.
Not because I was thinking in my future I will become a chef, but because I knew that in the future I will be probably alone. So I want to be able to talk with my future chef. So this is just the reason why I was working in the kitchen.
But you never had this like... ambition to become a chef yourself.
As you know, my passion and my ambition is to work in the wine, in the restaurant, in other...
All right, so let's talk about the wine.
Yeah.
What is going on in the cellar downstairs?
Well, when I started to work here, let me say 12 years ago, more or less, my father told me from the first day, so until today, I was taking care of the cellar. Now is your turn. And from one side, I was very happy. The other side, I was afraid because I said, I don't want to do stupid things. So my first year, I just take the past invoice and I copy exactly what my father did last year. And then little by little, I tried to do what I was thinking was right. So I start buying different producer and keeping back in the cellar. So for this reason, now we have the 40% of the wine that we have in the cellar, they are still not on the list, because the idea was doing like my father did in the past, so buying, keep in the cellar to give the opportunity to the customer in the future to have the old vintage Barolo, Barbaresco, and also Burgundy, because it's my second passion after obviously Langhe region.
I know you're a Burgundy expert. Aldo said you're a Burgundy expert.
It's not true. I'm Burgundy lover.
Okay.
I always afraid to say expert because there is also always something new to learn, and I think there is also something more to improve, especially the knowledge. So I never say expert, I always say lover.
So of course, I'm looking at your wine list. I mean, there's wine list of Bottega del Vino, and then there's the wine list of Il Centro, which is pretty impressive in itself. How many wines do you have on the list, first of all?
On the
one.
list, yes. I think around, we have more than 1,000 labels, but in fact in the cellar we have more than 1,600 different labels. And the idea was when I start
It's crazy.
When I start to make the wine list and to take care of the cellar, was to start buying and wait until the 70th anniversary of the restaurant, that will be in 2 years. And in 2 years, the idea is putting all the wine that we have in the cellar in the wine list. You know, but without
So it's going to be like, it's like this big
double.
now, it's going to be like this.
More or less the double. Yeah, but not because I think that the old wine are better than the young, but for me is always more emotional and interesting to drink an old bottle, for example, of Barolo, Barbaresco, but also Roero, because you have the story to tell. It tells the story about the vintage, about maybe the father of the producer. It's something really that make me really emotional. I don't know if the right word.
So describe to me your typical day. Because
Okay.
you are working a lot, right? Many hours, waking hours.
Well, now, to be honest, I start not very early, but around 7:30 in the morning, because
Did you hear that, Davide? He starts 7:30.
because I have another project that was born just, let me say, 11 months ago, that is not a second job, but is my really passion. That is all about wine. I started my wine import company. I'm importing wine from especially France for the moment.
Burgundy?
Burgundy, yeah.
See?
And so I start with the team of the import company, and normally we start in the morning around 8 o'clock in the office. Then I go ahead normally until 12 o'clock, and then I move to the restaurant, so I do the shift with all the team of the restaurant. Finish the shift, I come back to the office.
At the restaurant, what is your role exactly? What are you doing?
I can say many nice things. I'm the general manager, I'm the sommelier, I do what is necessary. So if we need one chef de rang, I will be the chef de rang. If I need to work as a sommelier, I do the sommelier. If I have to clean, because it's an old restaurant, but it's still a familiar restaurant, so we still want to keep it like this. So normally I'm in charge on the service and on the wine cellar, but during the service I want that the people do the things. So we have a sommelier, we have the chef de rang, and I want to support them where they need. So I don't want to say I'm the boss. I just have to say what is necessary to do it. What you have
Whatever
to do
it takes.
Yeah. So
whatever you need to do.
Yeah. So
what are the main challenges now running a restaurant? How many seats do you have?
Now, well, after COVID, the things are changed a lot. So before COVID, we used to do until maybe 60, 70 customers. It depends about the number of every single table, because after more than six person, we ask for tasting menu, so it's more easy to manage. Now we are doing like 35, 30 customer maximum. So it's different, but now the big challenge.
Why is it so much less customers?
It's more difficult to find employed. So my idea was to reduce, we are less, but doing 50% less customer.
Wow.
It means that we are at the same level. And
you mean in terms of the quality of the service, you want to give the same high-level service, but you don't have staff.
Yeah, I don't have staff.
Is it wait staff mostly?
In this moment, yes, because luckily in the kitchen we are enough. And then I always say my mother worked for 5 people, like five cook. So we are a lot. But I think it kind of cycle things little by little. This year is better than last year. So the things little by little, I think they are coming back to the normal, going back to normal. So yes, but the more important things in a restaurant is to build good stuff. So this is the big challenge, and obviously to try to increase the quality every year, both in the kitchen side, but also in the front style, in every part of the restaurant. So
you're open every day?
No, right now I choose to be closed more. So we close Monday, Tuesday, all day, and Wednesday we are open just for dinner. And then the rest of the day we are open lunch and dinner. But my focus in future is to give all the employees, all the people working with us, not for us, but with us, to have more time, more free time to enjoy the life. It's not easy, it's not financially easy, but this is my goal for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how, it sounds very romantic, to be quite honest, right?
I know.
Because at the same time, you have less business.
Yeah.
You have 50% less business, but you want to give more benefit to your employees. It's very noble, but I don't know, I can't really understand how that works in business sense.
I don't know also.
Because it just means you will work a lot more.
Yeah, but but you will know, because if in 2 years I will ask you for a job, you know that I did something wrong. But this is the focus that I want. Maybe little by little increase the quality and reduce the number of the guests, because it's the only way to go ahead with the quality. But always doing with the same passion, and to keep the passion, for me, we have also to really take care of the people working with us.
So next door, also you opened a hospitality. It's like a COVID baby. You opened it, you closed it. And so tell us a little bit about the structure you have.
The idea was to open a small, let me say, boutique hotel or resort. I don't know exactly the name. In Priocca. In Priocca, the center of the world. And we try to really to do our best to make a very nice place, because we want to keep the people also in our part of the region, so in the Roero region. So the idea was to build a very special place where the people they are not coming here in Priocca just to eat Alicento or drink the Roero from a producer from Priocca, but also because maybe they want to spend 2 nights at the Giampiero Cordero. So it takes for us 3.5 years to build this small resort, and we call it COVID resort because we opened just in 2020. So we open and then we close.
Right.
So it was not so easy, but now the things are going back to the normal. So we are happy and it's working well. Everything's going for the moment well. Okay,
so let's drink some wine. So what did you prepare for us today?
Well, we are in the Roero, so I think the idea is to drink something local. So here we have 2 great expressions of Roero. One is from Almondo, a very, very well-known and famous producer from Montà. I have a big connection with them because I was studying Oenology with one of the sons, Federico Almondo. And the other one is something also important for me, is a Roero, but made here in Priocca. So it's made, the winery is, let me say, at 300 meters from the restaurant. So it's something really, really local. And is made by the Cordero family, not our family, but
another Cordero.
Another Cordero. But in Priocca is easy because the 50% of the family, the name is Cordero. So,
okay. And they're not all your relatives.
No, absolutely. And this is a 2020 Roero, and was the first vintage of this winery, owned by Gianfranco, Serena, and Gabriele Cordero. The owner is also very famous because he's a very famous enologist. He's making wine for many, many wineries in all over Italy.
Super enologist.
Yeah, and it was nice to talk about this wine, also because, as I said, it's made in Priocca. The vineyard is in Priocca, the winery is in Priocca, and it's the first vintage of this winery.
So give us just a little bit of a backgrounder for our audience who are less familiar, because everybody, I reckon Langhe is much more famous.
Yeah, for us,
can you give them a little bit of the differences and similarities?
Yeah, so when we talk about Nebbiolo, we have many different expressions of Nebbiolo. One could be, for example, Barolo. And when we are talking about Barolo, there are inside of the Barolo area, there are many different village, many different land where you can produce Barolo. But then there is Barbaresco, and then there is Roero, always made with 100% Nebbiolo. What changed? In some way, I love to say that if you compare Roero to Barbaresco or Barolo, the people, they are always saying, well, Roero is less tannic, Roero is less, you have less structure. Roero
is that true though?
Yeah, but the point is that how we can talk about that. So less for me is a plus. So when we say, yeah, it's less tannic, you can find less structure, but this is the plus of the Roero. I mean, it's more, for sure, it's less tannic, but it's more fine, more elegant. It's something more soft because we have more sandy soil. So it's normal that, the structure is not like a Serralunga, is normal. But for me, I always want to try to explain what is Roero. For me, Roero is not the less a Barolo with less or Barbaresco with less, but is talking about also my second passion, Burgundy, is the Burgundy part of the Langhe region.
Aha, you heard it here first. The Burgundy part of
the Langhe region. So it's not less, it's just different. And it's important to explain that to the people because many times when we talk about, for example, Burgundy, we talk about Chassagne-Montrachet or Chablis. If I ask you which is the different, and 90% of the people, they are saying, this is just different. You cannot compare. And this is the same things between many different producers, between Roero and Barolo. Both are great, both are good, just are different because the soil is different. Less well known, of course, but it takes times. But in our region, in our part, so in Roero, like also in the Langhe, there are many young producers. They are working very well. So I'm sure that in the future, many people, they will start to drink also Roero. And
so let's. I don't want you to put you on a spot, but can you give some recommendations of the Roero producers?
Well,
because I mean, I know so many great ones, but because people are not familiar with Roero producers.
I always, for me, it's always difficult to say some name because when I say one name, it means that I'm not saying many different names, so it's not easy. But for example,
life isn't fair.
We are drinking these two, we are tasting these two, so
and
this one...
Tell us about these two producers.
So again, this one, the first one, the Roero 2020, from Giampiero Cordero, is a really new project, but they
it's
have
not your relative,
no,
not your cousin.
No, it's a long cousin. This is a long cousin, but it's not. We are not really the same family.
Right.
But so it's a young story, but very interesting. And also, if he's a young producer, because Gabriele, the son, is very young with his sister, but they have the background because they have the knowledge to make wine. So he's new, but with with the well-known knowledge. The second one, Almondo from Montà, of course, is old winery. Let me say old winery from Montà. But now there are Stefano and Federico. They are the two sons of the winery. They are extremely great and smart guy. Federico is one of the more, for me, well-known enologists in our region, not just in the Roero, also in the Barbaresco and Barolo. Everyone knows Federico, and we studied together enology at the school, so I am very, very friend with him. So there are two different expressions because one is made in Montà, one is Priocca, but they have in common the fineness and the elegance of our special land.
So what about in terms of value? What are like the price points of, let's leave out Barbaresco and Barolo. What about Langhe, Nebbiolo, and Roero? Are they similar in terms of the price points?
To be honest, no. If you think about a medium price,
the average.
Yeah, average price could be the 30%, 40% of a bottle of Barbaresco Barolo. So little by little they are increasing because also the people, they are more and more understand the quality and the value of this wine, but there is still a gap price talking between Roero and Barbaresco Barolo.
So you can still find some very good values.
Absolutely yes.
Okay, so let's drink this.
For me, is as I said before, is a kind of it's not easy to compare and to understand in a blind tasting. This is Roero, this is Barbaresco, this is Barolo.
I was just going to ask you that because it's a bit of a cheeky question.
Yeah.
But how, in a blind tasting, how can you tell the difference between Roero, and Langhe, and Barbaresco.
It's not easy because now also the quality of the winemaking is going very high. But normally what I try to find to understand in a blind tasting, if it's Roero, if it's Barbaresco or Barolo, is for sure the quantity of fruit at the nose and the quality of tannin and the quantity of the tannin. So if I feel, very soft tannin and a lot more fruit at the nose, I am more in the Roero region. But it's not always true, because also there are many great expressions in Barolo where the tannin are extremely soft. It's like seta, so it's not so easy. But this is the things that I try to understand and to check when I taste in a blind tasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a gross generalization, of course.
Yeah.
So, I think we can wrap this up for today. Thank you for having us. What about the food pairing? Just one last question. I always have one last question.
Well,
David is going to kill me, but...
We were talking about tajarin, so for me, a glass of Nebbiolo could be Roero, could be Barbaresco, Barolo, and a dish of tajarin, if it's possible, with white truffle, is the heaven.
Yeah, white truffle in the autumn.
In autumn. Now with the sausage ragu, with the veal ragu, with, also just with a dish of cheese, local cheese.
What about fritto misto?
With fritto misto, everyone is asking me which is the best pairing. But for me, with fritto misto, is something with great acidity, something young, because fritto misto is the star. So I don't want to try to find a big pairing with the wine, because the focus is fritto misto.
Alrighty, and thank you so much for having us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
With Italian wine people, and if you come to Priocca, you will not miss Il Centro and Giampiero. We call him Giampi Cordero in Priocca, because there's nothing else. Ciao ragazzi.
Ciao.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of On the Road Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim. Join her again next week for more interesting content on the Italian wine scene. You can also find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com or wherever you get your pods. You can check out our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, to watch these interviews and the footage captured at each location. Chin chin!